Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi. We're missing Giovanna. I need the music. Can you turn it on your phone? I'm going to do that. You don't do that. I'll do that. You just turn the music on for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? Wait till it, just turn the oven off when it comes on. When it goes off, yeah. You got the music working? Thank you. It should work. Hi, everybody. How you doing today? Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you whispering. No, you're not going to be able to hear that. You're not going to be able to hear that. How's everybody? Let's see. Oh, hey, Tadisha. Look at that, Tim. That's a lot. I was just looking at this young woman. I don't even tell you what I'm looking at. Her butt is huge. She must have had one of those, what do you call it, waist? But the other part is like this big, and the waist is this big. I'm like, wow. Wow.
Hey, Tadisha. How are you?
It's kind of quiet, isn't it?
It's always quiet.
Oh, there's our,
It's all quiet.
that's like that dinner music, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, you call it dinner music.
Thank you, Giovanna. It sounds like it's,
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Thanksgiving week. We are still going to be thankful right in the midst of a pandemic. We're just going to thank him. Thank him for our relationships. Thank him for us surviving, thriving.
Tadisha's still there, isn't it? This is her first Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Married.
yeah. That's true. That's right. It is.
It's her first.
Happy first Thanksgiving with your husband. Isn't that a nice ring to it? Tell Jamal I said hello if he's there.
I'm thinking that he is.
Well, she always says Jamal is right here. Y'all joined at the hip. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Share the video, everybody. We had
Sharing is
caring. We had an awesome time with Dr. Mike and Dr. Dee on Saturday. Man, I tell you, I just so enjoyed talking to them. And those of you who may have missed it, you know, go up on our YouTube page and subscribe to our YouTube page if you haven't subscribed.
We have a relationship doctor, one that we have to use too.
Yeah, we do
we
somewhere.
Do. No, we do.
But subscribe to my YouTube page, Dr. Tim Johns, and you know, subscribe so you can be sure to see all of our videos that we load up. I tell you, it was great. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. They shared some nuggets that we're going to dive into, but it was just really, 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 really good. Really, really good.
It was. Why is she turning it down? I love it.
Really, really good. It was outstanding. Outstanding. And we're going to dive into some of it tonight.
Yes, we are.
So who else is out there? Who's checking in with us?
Spence just came on. I saw Spence.
All right. That's Sturman. Okay, I can't see, but so what?
You have your glasses on.
You can't see. Yeah.
Come on, if I can see, I know you can see because I'm really.
No.
Really? Oh, wow. I'll just have to translate it to you.
No, you don't have to. Yeah, so good evening, Thurman.
Sharing is caring.
Whoever's out there, you can see me. I can't see you, but names are scrolling fast. So how y'all doing?
He said, although he said good morning, he said good evening. That's what he said.
Yeah, it was a little chilly today.
It was nice out, and all of a sudden.
Yeah, okay. I knew you was off.
No, it was.
Yeah, okay. But
It was nice.
I listen to you. I have be sniffling right now. You don't need no coat. No, I took my jacket. No, that weather out there is dangerous. You go ahead and think just because you got a little sunlight during the day that thing don't change as soon as you hit the afternoon.
Yes, no, we left in the afternoon, but by 5 o'clock it was freezing.
Yeah. So who else is out there? Say hello to us.
Hello.
She's saying hello.
Well, she says, what does your shirt say? Love is not a feeling, it's a choice.
Yes, one of our sayings.
That's what he lives by. And he tries to hold me to it all the time.
Yes, I do. Why not? Why not? We're supposed to be growing, right?
Supposed to be.
We're supposed to be growing together. And we're going to dive into this thing tonight. I think it'll be, our theme this week in dealing with our relationships is about removing the mask. Removing the mask. And I thought the Freeman said something so powerful that was worth reiterating. And because we talk about the necessity of change, and that we have to continue to self-develop because we are growing. We are growing. We would hope that we are all growing in the areas that's going to produce the fruit that we are expecting in our relationship. And so when you talk about removing the mask, I want you to be thinking about turning, turning.
You're jumping, right? You're moving too quick.
You think I am?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. You want me to slow down?
No, I think you jumped in too much.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Y'all follow me anyway.
That's not what I'm saying.
So,
I guess you don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we want to see we want to see our expectations met. I'm telling you, we all have them. Everybody has expectations for one another. The question is, how do you get them met without killing each other? Yeah, how do you get them met with harmony? Yeah, with harmony. Yeah. How do you get them met with growing at the same time, with respect and love and honor, and having all those things be present while you're expecting greatness out of both? Mm-hmm. We taught a lesson a couple of weeks ago, expecting greatness. I wasn't expecting greatness or being pressured into greatness. Yeah, that's what it was. Being pressured into greatness. And we must, it kind of goes with Dr. Mike was saying, you got to have people in your life that's going to check you, challenge you, and help you change.
That's right.
Help you change. And being pressured into...
well, since you said pressure, I know that most people don't like pressure. And when you're in a relationship with someone, if you put too much pressure on them, they'll not only crack, but they'll try to flip it on you and say the reason why is you put too much pressure on me. So I'm not going to respond because it's too much pressure. Yeah. Because how dare you put that kind of pressure on me? Instead of responding, okay, that's a little much, that's a lot of pressure. Help me through this process. Right. So we reject the pressure instead of embracing the pressure. Because if you embrace think about, there's pressures every day in life. There's pressures on your job to perform. There's pressure as a parent. So at being a great parent, it's a pressure just being in a relationship with your mate. There's always going to be pressure in life, and you can't run away from all pressures. Yeah, you can I can't say it. You can I still can't say it. Suppress. You can
what are you
I
trying
still
to say?
can't say it. I don't know what's wrong with my
Suppression?
tongue. You can suppress pressure, but only for a certain length of time, because eventually you're going to have to address it. You're going to have to deal with it, because your relationship is not going to get any better if the other individual is expecting something from you that they know you have the capacity to fulfill, but because of fear and you pressure, because you don't want them to pressure you, then you draw back. And eventually it's nothing you can do, but you're going to have to submit.
But if you remember, Dr. Mike said Dr. TD's always pressured him. And he said,
I was so excited to hear that.
I know you was.
I was so excited. I was under the table kicking him.
I don't feel like it.
I was under the table kicking him.
She said she's always pressured me. What's next? Let's do something different. Let's do something original.
I remember years ago, you used to say to me, I'm not going to let you pressure me into doing something that I don't want to do. I remember that, because we were removing the mask tonight, because we're transparent anyway. But that's not really, that's what you said, but that's not really what you meant. That's not what you meant. It's not time to go to bed yet. It's not time to go to bed.
Okay, so go ahead. What did I mean?
You meant that I'm not there yet. What you're asking me to do, I'm uncomfortable doing it at this present time in my life, or at this present time, and I'm going to get there. But I don't want you to pressure me to get there, although I'm fearful of touching it. But I don't want you to touch it. You just let me do it when I want to do it, even though it could be 20 years later and I'll already be gone.
Wow.
I'll be gone, so there's no sense in you changing then. There's no sense in you doing it.
That's a good definition. That's a good definition. Yeah.
You're funny. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Miss Beautiful Marsha. How are you? And Tamika. Hi, everybody.
But stay right there, because we're doing kind of a recap, a recap and a mixture of what the Freemans shared with us, and they said something that we can unpack here, and that it goes back to what you were saying. And I want everybody to get a hold of this, because I thought it was so insightful, that when things become difficult, it's because it's different. Not because it's necessarily difficult, but because we have not practiced it consistently enough, we're uncomfortable with when it becomes difficult, especially when it comes to changing our behavior patterns, or how we think, or your mindset. And we withdraw from what we perceive as being difficult because it's different. And then we use that as that, you're putting too much pressure on me. Right. And I don't like that. And in a sense, we need that. In order to become the person that you want to become, it's going to require change. And it's going to require some level of tension, some level of pressure. We all need pressure. We know the rules of growth. You can't grow without pressure. Yeah. You can't grow without tension. And so in the context of relationships, we have to embrace that when it's time for me to develop a new habit, that makes me feel uncomfortable, just because I'm uncomfortable doesn't make it bad. Just because it feels difficult because it's so different, because I'm not used to practicing shutting my mouth. I'm not used to practicing. Let's make it practical. I'm not used to dying to myself. That's uncomfortable. That seems difficult, but it's just different because I'm not used to putting you first. I'm not used to consciously thinking about you. I'm always consciously thinking about myself. I'm not used to that. And so it makes me uncomfortable. Normally, when we're uncomfortable, we resist change.
Well, I think we should go back to that, because we've been talking about selfishness. And I know that when you're not focused on your mate, selfishness is inevitable.
It's,
Selfishness
is
is
inevitable. Yes.
Exactly. It's present, just like today.
Yeah.
You do it all the time. You will go. Was it today? Was it this morning or yesterday? You went and got something for yourself, and then you came back, and I'm just looking at you. You in your state just eating or drinking. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I'm looking at him.
I did that today.
You do it every day. He does it every day.
That's pretty bad.
Unconsciously.
Y'all pray for me.
And I'm thinking, dude, did you make me? Did you think? And I never make breakfast for myself if I'm making a bowl of cereal. That's different. A bowl of cereal. Even if it's oatmeal, I'll say, would you like some
I
oatmeal?
don't remember doing that today.
You don't remember doing
I
it because you do it
wasn't around you all
unconsciously.
day today.
You do it unconsciously.
I was in my office.
It must have been
all day.
yesterday.
It must have been yesterday. I didn't do that
You
today.
do it unconsciously. And I have to constantly remind you, hey, I'm hungry too. Hey, I'm thirsty too. He'll come up with a snack and he'll sit there and act like he just, and I'm going, dude, did you forget I want a snack too? He'll go, oh, did you want a snack? Hey, how about you share with me? I'm like, no, you should make enough for both of us.
When it comes to my food, man.
That's not funny.
That's true. It's true.
Hi, Aunt Diane.
Aunt D, what's going on? We're talking about removing the mask. And we're talking about experiencing great
Talking about how selfish your nephew is.
Yeah, I'm talking about how to experience great stuff. I ain't that bad. Am I that bad?
Really?
Just trust. You want to pray for me?
No, I've done it already. You need to change. Change.
Pray. So listen, this is so good. Just because it's difficult, just because it feels difficult, because it's different, doesn't make it bad. Oftentimes when we got to change, it's going to be difficult. It's going to have the perception of difficult. And why? Because it's different. You're just not used to it. So what is the change you want to see in your relationship that you haven't seen? What is the change? Talk to me. Y'all just shout some things out to us. Type it in. What is some change you want to see in your relationship? That if you could get what you want in your relationship, what would you want to see? What change you want to see? Because in order to become better, we got to change. In order to become better, we got to change. In order to become, what we desire to be, we got to change.
How about this? In order to become what your mate needs you to be, for the relationship to thrive and be successful and continue to move in purpose, you don't have to change necessarily. I don't want to use that word change.
Develop.
I mean you have to change. But what I'm saying is you have to recognize your significance in the relationship, and that should fuel your mind. That should fuel you to want to change. Exactly. That should be your motivator to want to change.
Yeah. Well, that's why they say faith is the activator and love is the motivator, because everything should be motivated by love. That's a principle that you write that down. Faith is my activator, but love is my motivator. Allow love. Faith is my activator, and love is my motivator. Allow love to be the very motive for perpetual change in your relationship. What is love? Love is sacrificial.
Motivator.
Yeah, faith is my motivator. You need faith. You're not going to have a successful relationship without faith, because it's going, and you need it because when it's difficult to be in the relationship, you're going to need faith.
You said love is
the motivator.
You said faith is my motivator.
No, love is the motivator. Faith is the activator.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Faith is the activator. Love is the motivator. So everything that I do, I should do in love, and that means with the thought of the other person. Sacrificially, love does what? Anticipate need.
Exactly.
So it has to be the motivator to see your relationship prosper. And if you start to flow that way, it's going to seem difficult because it's different. And the reason it is, man, I don't want to be releasing all this at one time, but I think the reason is because in order to flow in love and love to be the motivator, it requires a dying to self. It requires what we call surrender. It requires surrender. So, and you really can't, love cannot be the motivator if you don't surrender to
Well,
it.
let me ask you this, and you know, I don't like to throw some
Go
shade.
ahead, go ahead, throw some shade. I
But
can handle it.
you know, we know the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So why aren't we doing it?
Because
But tell me why you forget
because
about me every day.
because it seems when we need to change, it seems we are pain adverse. Well, you know, humans are pain adverse. So y'all know what I mean by that. Whenever something seems difficult, we withdraw from it because we're pain adverse. You know, if the oven is on or the stove is on and it's hot there, we know fire is hot. So if I put my hand in close, I will withdraw from it. From a natural proclivity, naturally, humanistically, we are pain adverse. We are pain adverse. And so what happens to us is that when you're operating in selfishness, you'll have an adverse reaction to dying to self or to not pleasing yourself, and your mind interprets that as pain. And so you will have a tendency to withdraw from that behavior because it has the perception of being difficult. It has the perception of being difficult because it's so different, because I'm not used to putting you first. I'm not used to.
I'm sorry, I have a hard time.
Oh yeah, well
I have a hard time.
Well, that's the reality of our challenge.
A hard time accepting that your mate does not think enough of you on a daily basis or every hour basis. Well, there's something wrong with that. If you don't think of your mate that way, if you don't think how important your mate's feelings are, how important whatever they ask you to do, or just the communication, the love, I just find it offensive. Because if you're in a relationship with someone and you refuse to give me what my heart desires, or refuse to acknowledge my pure existence and my desires of my heart pertaining to you, that's a problem for me. That's to me, that's offensive. Why am I in a relationship? And when people say it's always one-sided because the other person seems to be doing more and the other person is just existing, because the person has not renewed their mind that this person is important to them. What's important to the other person should be important to you. The way that the person's love language, how they receive their love, and what their love language is should be important to you. Right. I have a hard time, and I'm offended by that. If you don't think enough of your mate that you decided to hook up with or date or marry, not to give them that respect.
Well, you know, the reality, you can be offended all you want, but you have to choose to be offended. You know that.
No, I'm choosing.
Yeah, well, that's not a place to be.
Okay, how about not that word? I'm very disappointed and heartbroken by someone being in a relationship with you and not thinking of you, and just thinking of themselves.
Well, in reality, Mo, all of us have some selfishness in us. All of us have selfishness in us. Now, the truth ought to be told. That's the problem at the root. At the root of
Pandora.
At the root of most of the problems we have in relationship is selfishness.
Yeah.
It's selfishness. So, and there are different degrees of selfishness. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have this opportunity to share and talk about relationships, because sometimes we don't even see ourselves. Pride.
You don't see yourselves.
Pride, clouds your vision, and you're not even able to see yourself until you hear somebody talking about it, and you go, "Wow, do I look like that? That's me? You know, that's me." So in reality, there's a level of selfishness in all of us.
And think about it. If things are not running smoothly in the relationship, forget it. If you're selfish when things are good, when they're not good, you are really just over the top. You're going to be really over the top.
Yeah, because you will have
no sensitivity.
Yeah, right. You will have a more of a personal desire to get your needs met under pressure.
Exactly.
Than you did even when everything was going right. And see, the real that's why the litmus test of going through challenges really reveals, like Corona has revealed, really how strong our relationships are.
Yes.
Because under pressure, what you practice and moderation becomes exploded.
Exactly.
It becomes exploded under pressure, because now your proclivity is to try to get everything you want, because it's not working for you. It's not working for you. And so how do we do that? How do we get the help that
I know
we
what
need?
I did. I know personally.
How do we
what
get
I
the help
did.
we need? Because we're talking about taking off the mask. I mean, the reality is, something must give.
Hi, Barbara. How are you? Welcome to Relationship Doctors. Now, me personally, what I did is I confessed with you and communicated with you that I didn't like you. And I told you that I had to get up every single day.
You actually told me that.
Get up every single day and confess. Made my confessions.
I was a little offended.
I wanted, but you were aware.
Oh, I was aware.
And then you started being conscious.
I was aware.
Then you started being conscious.
I was aware.
That the things that I'm not doing, is really irritating her, or it's really just sitting her. She's uncomfortable with it.
Well, one of the things I had to realize, even if I had not changed totally, what really helped me move to the center is I had to accept that I had to honor how you felt. I had to value that what you were saying was important to you.
Exactly.
But because until you value what's important to the other person, irregardless if you disagree or not, you won't move. You won't have no sensitivity. And so oftentimes our spouses are not really, yes, they want us to change. Yes, they want us to grow. But one of the things they want most of all is to be heard and understood.
Just like before we.
To be heard. Hold up, Mo. To be heard and understood. Because man, when you feel like you're not being understood, you're not being heard, that's a different level of frustration. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Just today, before we came on tonight, and you were complaining about me opening the window, and I told you,
yes,
I'm in that season, and you were saying I was selfish, and I was like, no, I'm not selfish. You need to, and you did I see you went on and put on a shirt under that.
Yeah, that's
right. I see that.
Get off
no, I'm just saying.
You'll see why I got
after you started
on,
screaming and
I'm
flaming. Selfish. I'm not flaming. It's not called flaming.
What is it? Flashing?
Yeah, it's not flaming.
That's the same.
No, it's not. Flaming is when
flaming and flashing.
Oh,
what's the
God.
difference?
No, it's different.
Flashing and
People
flaming.
think of flaming, you thinking flaming down that area.
Flame. Well,
something's wrong with you.
Y'all, everybody know that.
No, but
she's flaming, y'all.
That's not flaming.
Well, that's why I got
and there's women watching, so you're not going to get them to agree with you. I had 4 kids.
Well, that's why I put long sleeves.
That's right.
On,
but shouldn't you have done that first and accepted the season that I'm in instead of complaining and saying I'm selfish?
It's cold outside.
No, it's not
cold outside.
It doesn't matter.
Excuse us one second. It's cold outside.
It doesn't matter.
And you trying to open up all these windows in this house?
That's right.
You see all these windows we got on this wall over here? You are out of your mind.
You can't see all the windows.
Well, they can't. We have a few windows. How about that?
Yeah, a lot of windows. But no, really. Instead of, because you know the season that I'm in, and instead of getting me all hot and bothered, you should have just said, open the window. Your mother's going through.
I did. I said,
just me go put a sweater on.
I said, put those 2 open for her, and I'm gonna move my seat because she's sitting next to the window, and I move over here. But so here, I mean, we kind of we're gonna bring some order to this so we can make sure you guys are clear on what we're talking about. We're talking about removing the mask, and in order to really remove the mask, think of the mask like a veil, One of the things that the scripture says is that when we turn toward the Lord, the veil is lifted. Mm-hmm. And so, and turning is symbolic of changing and repenting. Mm-hmm. And so when we're talking about removing the mask, we're saying developing a whole new way, getting a hold of a new perspective concerning your relationship. Getting a new perspective.
Yes.
Even if you've been married for years, you should never stop growing, because if you think you've learned everything about that other person, oh my God, you won't learn nothing new. And so there's still some stuff about her that I have to uncover. I have to unpack, because this is
A masterpiece.
A masterpiece that is changing right before me. It's flashing on me. It's changing. And so if I don't change my perspective, it will mess with our agreement. Because how can two walk together unless they agree? So when we're talking about removing the mask, we're challenging you to.
Oh, are we having some issues again? Is that me?
No.
Okay.
No
Because it happens there, but it won't.
We don't. The connection is fine.
So my Wi-Fi should be on. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
All right.
Go
You
ahead.
need the class again?
No, I just want to make sure.
Okay. Yeah, so our perspective, what we're saying is we have to challenge one another to get a new perspective in our relationship. And that frustration will set in when you don't have a fresh approach or a when you get a new perspective, man, it's going. And seek for the new perspective. When you have a stalemate, when you're bumping heads, withdraw for a second just to get, step back a second and say, I got to get a new perspective because this is not working. I got to get a new perspective. And then, lean on God to help you change. Lean on God. If you are looking at your life and when I say your life, your individual life, and you recognize there's some things that are not changing that you need to personally address, then you have to turn toward God and get a glimpse of who he is so you can become just like him. Because I guarantee you, whatever you're lacking, he has. And if you want what God has in your life, all you need is his reflection. Yes. But you never can get his reflection if you got the mask on, if you're hiding it, if you're acting like it doesn't exist, if you're acting like somebody's crazy because they keep telling you to do this and do that. But if you take it to God and remove the mask and be willing to get a new perspective, I guarantee you'll get illuminated by the light. And so when you keep the mask on, you'll notice that it hinders the light of transformation. When you keep the mask on, it doesn't allow the word to change you. It does. Why? Because you got the mask on and you feel like your perception is that you don't need to change. And so this is very good. So, our principle tonight is what do I do? What does it take to remove the mask? It takes change. It takes a willingness. You remember what Isaiah 1:19 says, you just can't be willing. You got to be willing and obedient. You just can't be. Many people say I'm willing, but they don't want to let love be the motivator.
Yeah, let love be your motivator.
They won't. I'm willing, but you won't let love be the motivator. And so you gotta let love be the motivator for everything that motivates movement. Because when love is the motivator, God protects you. God protects you. He will cover your wounds. He will cover your wounds, and he will guide you along the way. So this is really good. Removing the mask is going to require us to embrace that's really taking your relationship to another level. And I think as we continue, now watch this, as we continue to grow, it's going to require us to constantly continue to remove the mask.
Yeah.
We take off layers and layers of self in order to get a glimpse of who he is so we can become just like him. Mm-hmm. And so anytime you say, I'm not removing the mask, it's because you're being selfish. See, self-preservation is a sign that you're selfish. When you try to protect yourself, when you don't give like you should, all that is so.
And I personally remind you when you don't give like you're supposed to. You do the same thing to me too.
Is that right? Okay.
I'll say, I'll say my back is itching. You'll say I don't feel like it, and you get an attitude, and that's real things. That's real life.
Yeah, I've done that.
And he'll scratch it because he wants to scratch it. He doesn't want to be rude. But I'm telling you, my back is straight, my skin is off.
My flesh will respond sometimes.
And I'll say, oh no, no,
my flesh sometimes will respond before my spirit. Y'all, anybody know what I'm talking about?
Hi, David.
When when your flesh responds before your spirit. Y'all know, because we have our emotions they move faster than we can cognitively process. Oh yes, indeed. And that's why David says, soul, why art thou countst cast down? Hope in God, believe in God. Why? Because his soul was all over the place. That's why Job said that naked I came in this world, naked I'm left. That was his soul talking. He said, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. That was his soul talking. That wasn't his spirit. So thank God that we're human and we're divine at the same time. Give your spouse a grace break. Give him a grace break.
For how long?
For as long as necessary.
No, we know.
Give him a grace break.
Grace break.
Yeah,
not too long.
Give him a grace
become
break.
Complacent. You don't want to.
No.
You're gonna become complacent.
No, when you get frustrated at him or her, elevate your love walk.
Yes, elevate your love.
Elevate your love walk. All it's saying is that you got to love them at another level of faith. Frustration is an indication that you have to love them at another level of faith.
Yes.
Come on. Disappointment is an indication that you got to love them at another level of faith. Disappointment means that you have to elevate your faith. Elevate your faith. And that's why faith, as we said this on Sunday in our message on Sunday, is faith is more important than love. It's much more important than love, especially in relationships, and especially during Corona, especially when we don't like each other. Because think about it, when I don't like you, I'm basing that not liking you on what I'm seeing right now in the current reality. But if I'm loving you beyond what I see, that's faith. If I'm focusing on the good and not the ugly, that's faith. And so many people struggle in relationships because they stop loving each other by faith. And you got to do it. You got to do it that way. You got to do it that way. And it's easy. And if it's becoming too difficult for you, it's because you're not dead yet. And that's the reality of it. And that's to let you know, these are little triggers. We teach this many times, but it's necessary to talk about it. Dr. Mike said the same thing on Saturday. He said, when you die to yourself, self-denial is the key to the next level of grace flowing in your life. Write that down. Self-denial is the key to the next level of grace flowing through your life. There is grace available to handle your spouse at any level of disappointment, unmet expectation, transgression. There is another. As sin abounds, there's grace for much more. And so don't ever say you can't get over it. Grace can help you get over it. Don't ever say it ain't gonna work. Grace can make it all possible. See, whenever you feel like you can't get over it, that's like you got to be like Popeye. You remember Popeye and olive oil? You remember Popeye? No, you don't remember Popeye and olive oil? You remember when Popeye, every now and then when Popeye got into, and when Brutus get to beating up on Popeye, he said, I can't stand this no more. He would pull out that spinach. That was the grace of God. Every time Popeye couldn't handle it no more, he went for the spinach. He went for the vegetables. He said, I got to get this spinach. And y'all know what happened after that. His muscles got big and he beat Brutus up so bad because he understood that every time he came to the end of himself, there was something he had to reach for. And I'm telling you right now, don't ever think that it's over in your relationship. Always say, you know what? There's grace for this. Somebody shout, I'm getting preaching now. Somebody shout, there's grace for this. I can get the grace of God, in my body, flowing through my body, and it'll help me like my spouse again.
So when you were saying that, talking about Popeye, I wasn't a Popeye fan, so I really didn't watch it.
I loved Popeye. What young man didn't like Popeye?
You were saying every time his grace ran out, or every
time he came to the end of himself.
Yes, or he was going through a difficult situation.
Yeah, right.
What?
He
So
reached
what
for the,
I'm hearing.
he reached for the spinach.
So what I'm hearing is, instead of reaching for the spinach, we need to reach for the word. So the word will be your antidote for whatever you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's it.
So you should reach for the word.
Reach for the word. Reach for the word. Absolutely.
The word. Absolutely.
Stop saying, I'm done with him. I'm done with her. No, stop saying,
I'm done.
Stop saying I'm done.
I'm done.
Stop saying this ain't gonna work.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Stop saying all that. No, stop saying that. Believe God, but believe His word. Allow His word to empower you. Well, this has been good. It's always good. Thank y'all for watching tonight.
Yes.
If you have any questions that you want to throw at us, we'll take a few questions if you have them.
Yes.
But yeah, tonight this is part 2.
Tell
We're moving
them
the mask.
as they're getting their questions together, how you got to the point, well, that you had grace for this relationship or for me. Yeah. Tell them, how did you get to that point?
Because I like the way you said it the first time, not just for you, but for the relationship.
Well,
yeah, because I think
you see, I disagree just slightly, because you had grace for the relationship. You just didn't have grace for me. Because you can say I have faith in the relationship and I'm going to stay in this relationship by faith, but you didn't have grace for me. It's a little different. If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand.
As long as you understand.
I don't want to change your perspective.
Okay.
That's fine. Your perspective is your perspective. I was just saying. And then what was your question? How did I get there?
How did you tell the audience, tell the world how you got to the point you got to the level that you are now, that you have grace for me, and that the grace that you operate in now is at such a high level. I would really have to, I don't know, stab you maybe for you to leave me, but I don't think you would leave then.
I don't.
You would just say, take me to the hospital.
I don't take credit for God's power that's flowing through me in that area concerning you, because I've realized that it was supernatural. I'm so passionate about this, and I said this during the broadcast with Dr. Mike and Dr. Didi. I'm so passionate about this because until you have experienced the power of God flowing through you at this level, it's hard to explain what I'm saying. But I can, and the best way I can explain it is, I got such to the point, I was so frustrated with her. Frustrated. I mean, nothing seemed to work. And it made me emotionally unstable. It made me emotionally unstable. And I didn't like that side of myself. I didn't like nothing making me that emotionally unstable. And so I just threw my hands up and said, Lord, you're gonna have to help me with this. Because when you're emotionally unstable, you make bad decisions.
You can't hear well.
You can't hear well. So now I'm in a relationship with her, and now because of what I believe I'm not receiving, I start making bad decisions, which makes it worse. And sometimes in that state, we justify our emotional disposition and blame it on the other person, instead of realizing that your responsibility is always your responsibility. You never can move that on somebody else because of what they did. That's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. And I had to realize that I had to do what I needed to do, irregardless of what she was doing. And God has a way of changing your heart. Many people don't understand this. When he says God will give you the desires of your heart, no. When you delight yourself in the Lord, he gives you his heart. So you will desire the things he wants you to have. He gives you his heart. He gives you his heart. He'll allow you to see your spouse in a different perspective. And then you honor it. and then you honor it, you know, and you honor it, you honor them as, man, a vital, integral part of your very existence. When you value that, when you begin to see that perspective, your heart softens. Your heart softens. See, until you see goodness in your spouse, you won't change.
Yes. Yes.
And you allow the disappointment to shield you from their very goodness.
Yes.
But when you see the goodness, you go, oh my God. See, when you see someone's goodness, it's so powerful that it will outweigh what you don't like.
And see, that's the word. That's the grace that I had. That's the part that I had to do.
Yes, when you see,
when
oh my God.
When I see his his proclivities and things that I'm not pleased with, or I'm uncomfortable, I don't like, I have to renew my mind immediately and think of the good things, think of the things that he does do well, think of the things that he does say, and because if you don't, you'll find yourself back in that state of disappointment and frustration again.
Exactly.
We have a question. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Hey, Nancy. How you doing?
Hi, Albert. How are you? Michelle says, is there ever a time when grace isn't enough?
Never.
Oof.
Never. Now, you may not like that answer. There's never a time when grace is enough. God knows that there's never. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's not enough. Let me tell you why. And I'll give you one illustration that should illuminate this for you. There is nothing you can do to have God separate himself from you. How about that? There is nothing you can do. If the blood, now who asked that question? Michelle. Now watch this. If the blood forgives us of past, present, and future sin, that's your answer right there. What God is saying, my love for you has been demonstrated by me shedding my blood for you, that's going to forgive you of stuff you haven't even done yet.
Remember that song you
wrote
for me?
You haven't even done yet.
You said, my love for you.
I wrote that for Dr. Mike, actually.
Really?
Yes, I did.
You never told him that.
No, I haven't told him that.
Lord.
I haven't even sung it. I haven't even released that.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know,
your love for me is made away.
So what you should do? Oh, I got it.
I wrote that when he was going through his faith fight.
You recorded it, right?
I think I did. I was in my prayer room. I was praying for my man of God, and I started thinking, when he had came out, and then the Lord was saying, my love made a way, and I will trust you with my life.
Wow. You need to get to Tim.
Yeah,
Tim
my love.
To have him.
I thought about it too. I gotta finish some of the verses in that thing.
Where's
No, there's never a time. See, this is my disposition, y'all. Don't push me I'm gonna bend right to the word. There's never a time when grace is not enough. If that was the case, then there would be something that you and I could do that would have God reject us. That's like saying, if you could get God to reject you, it would be because of this. There's nothing.
But there's nothing. Discipline. It takes confessions daily. Yeah. It takes a renewing of your mind to carry that kind of.
Yeah, well, yes, it does take a but
you have to have a consciousness.
Yes, but before the renewing of the mind, surrender must be present. Your mind is second.
Surrender is daily.
Surrender is the first protocol.
Yes.
The will being surrendered is the first protocol to receiving the grace. The mind gets renewed after that, but you have to first say, I'm going to do what God says, irregardless of how I feel. And that's the problem with us. We disobey God. Now you hear what I'm saying. Many people, Christians, will disobey God based on how they feel. And I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to say it one more time. Many Christians will justify disobeying God primarily based on how they feel. And when I hear that in somebody's spirit, I look at them with the stinky guy and say, you ain't there yet. You ain't there. You haven't died to yourself yet. I love you enough to tell you the truth. But it's available to you. And it not just access to me, it's access to all of us in this true surrender.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Anybody else had any more questions? Have a few more seconds to answer any questions. Thank you, Michelle, for your questions.
Thank
You
you.
know, we make sure that we come to you and we're very open and transparent, because we think that's the way that we can help you, is by sharing some of our experiences and from even our counseling sessions, and you know that we teach on we teach couples and singles on how to live.
We've been at this for
for a long time,
over 20
and we were actually counseling people. I don't know how long we've been married.
24.
Yeah, because Gabby's
We've been teaching couples for 30 years.
But you know, before we even were pastors, we were counseling.
I'm gonna say that again.
We've
been teaching couples for 30 years.
30 years.
And we're pretty young too. But
I know I am.
We've been at this for a while. I'm going back as far as Sunday marriage Bible classes on Sunday mornings.
No, before then.
No, it's
I'm just saying, before then we were talking to couples. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what God was doing.
We got 30 years under our belt.
Wow.
Yeah. With Jesus.
We love you guys so much.
We love you. Thank y'all for watching.
Questions. Now, we can make sure we remind everybody, we are asking 1,000 of our friends, family, church partners to sow $1,000 for our Family Life Center. I might call it faith now. Family Life Center, which will take care of our homeless, our needy, seniors, and our youth. It's so important to our heart.
Tell them what it's going to have in it. Well, I mean, what's going to be in the Family Life Center?
Wow.
A state-of-the-art, fully functional kitchen. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We do a lot of things with feeding.
We're about to feed 450
Yes,
people.
it's going to have a state-of-the-art kitchen in it. You name it. It's going to have classroom space.
Yes, for those that are homeless or needy, who are maybe just have some addictions. Perhaps they just came from incarceration.
Like a processing center that will take the people from off the street into a process. Because we're talking to folks that are homeless that are brilliant.
Smart.
Brilliant. Yes. And we're listening to them. We get in the car and we go, that person is brilliant. Yes. They just fell on a few, potholes in life. And then we notice that some of them need mental health.
Mental health.
And mental health issues. And they're just out there and they're getting a meal. And the meal is not all they need. They need other stuff. And they're just out there. And it breaks our heart. It breaks our heart. I just cringe when I see it, because I know the meal is not the only thing that they need. And man, God has touched our heart on this thing. And so the Family Life Center is going to be just that. It's going to minister to our community as a whole in the areas that God has called us to. The seniors,
we'll have a
the homeless, the youth,
We'll have a couples counseling. We have counseling facilities for them. We'll be doing workshops. It's just so much.
Yes.
We need a Family Life Center.
Couples will be able to come in and get trained and all kinds of stuff.
So we're asking everyone, right now we need 997 people. We have 3 already say they're going to give $1,000. Now, I know you may not have it right now, but you pledge it. Believe by faith. Believe by faith. We need 997 people to say, I'm with you. This is something that's needed.
Yes.
I pledge $1,000 with you. Some of you may be saying, I don't have $1,000. I'm going to believe by faith, but right now I have $500. you know, and that's what you would like to do, we'll receive that. And I'm going to start, which I've already done, is talking to my family. And I have an envelope called family, and I'm going to start collecting, and I'm going to build up to 1,000 for that. And we're so excited about it. Every time, if you can look in my house right now, I can't even get to the foyer. We have coats. I'm looking right now. I have toiletries. I have stacks of water. My garage,
Basement's full.
I can't even get.
Garage
We have
is
this
full.
little space that come from the kitchen going to the garage outside. We need space to, you know, when people are calling us, we don't have anywhere for them to go. They need food. You know, I have 5 refrigerators and 3 freezers. So we need a facility that will meet the needs of those in need.
And people who just call that need a transitional space for a couple of nights, we would love to be able to have a place for them to come. I mean, how many times have we paid for a person to stay
Or
around?
brought them to my house.
We have brought people to our home. We have this is before Corona, y'all, and we have paid for hotel stays for people we've seen in the street, and we've called and made arrangements for folks to get a place to sleep at night. And I believe that it is our responsibility as kingdom citizens to provide for those who are in need. And God does that through the community of people. Absolutely. He does that through the community of people. And this world, whether some people understand it or not, needs the church. They need the kingdom of God, because we're here to make sure that the earth prospers. We're here to meet the needs of people through God's grace, His call on our life, and He does it through people. And so money doesn't come out of heaven; money's down here. So what God does is He moves on the hearts of people to fulfill the dreams that He's placed in the heart of a handful of individuals, and not just a handful.
And
all of
you know,
us.
it is tax season coming,
Yes.
so most people are going to need a tax deduction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a perfect opportunity, a perfect place to donate your money is for Family Life Center. We're excited about it. We just released it on Saturday. We need 1,000 people to give $1,000, and we already are started. So we need 997 people,
Believing
we're
God.
believing God that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It has to happen.
Right during Corona.
Absolutely.
Right during Corona. Our God is a big God. Amen.
Amen.
That's
so
good.
We thank you all so much for tuning in. I typed it in for you. Those of you who need our Cash App or our website or Givelify, you can send us a check. Whichever you say, I don't have 1,000, but I have $999. Wonderful. We're excited about it, and we are expecting God to do something major. I just put it in there. I typed it in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because what you just did.
Yeah, I know you didn't like that. The fact that I got up
Really?
and put my hand in the camera.
Really? Really?
It's gonna be all right.
No, it's not. Oh my goodness. So everybody, as you see, my grace has ran out right there. That was the point that I'm done. My grace is done now.
Not me.
Yes,
I got more grace.
Well, of course you do, because you just did the infraction.
I got more grace.
You got the infraction, so you should have more grace.
I got more grace for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
He's funny, everybody.
You gonna make my potatoes?
No,
tonight?
I'm not. I have other
It's
things.
too late anyway.
Exactly.
I was just kidding.
No, you weren't. So
Yes,
he's full of it.
I was kidding.
So I'll make them tomorrow. But I love all of you. We love you, and we appreciate you watching, and share the video. Sharing is caring. You forgot? You just did it again. What are you doing?
How am I gonna...
No, see.
What are we gonna do?
See.
This is
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the
We're going.
Relationship Doctors.
We'll
with
see
Tim
you
and Wendy.
later.
We will see you tomorrow.
Hey, listen, join me for a Thanksgiving blessing on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. I'm going to be praying. That's our prayer time. So if you want to I'm just going to be releasing the blessing of God over all of your lives. for this Thanksgiving season, and you don't want to miss it. Join me on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m.
And I forgot to mention also in the month of December, so many things are happening. Starting November 30th, we'll be having Authors Week. I'm going to post it tonight. It's going to be fantastic.
That's going to be
Then the
hot.
next week, we're going to have Empowerment and Motivational Week, getting us prepared for 2021.
Yes.
And then the third week, we'll be having holiday specialty. So if you would like to be on What You're Cooking with Lady Mo show and cooking your specialty, I think I only have 7 slots left. Please, please, please email me at mjohns03@verizon.net, or you can send us an inbox and let me know. I want to be on your show, and we're so excited. And we thank you for watching. Good night. I'm on this side.
See, it's okay.
I'm on this side, though.
It's okay.
Because I'm on
She
this
gets
side.
up and moves.
Because you get
You know it don't